Okay, let's get started, huh? What do you think? Ready?
We're ready.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to session number 13 of our Small Business Breakthroughs community. And our topic for today, you might think, what in the heck is this all about? Right? It's called Feed Them a Fish, bite-sized ways to get some results. That's what I'm getting at. This came from John in particular, right? And it's all about giving people tiny little pieces of value that solves one specific problem for your audience, and it gives them a result pretty quickly. And there's lots of things if you think about what can you give to people in your specific area that can give them a result, and the idea behind it, okay, is to actually think, wow, if Tina can do that for me like this, what else can she do for me? So the idea is to build some confidence in you and some belief in you and trust in you in particular. And little things like a checklist or a swipe file, a script, a shortcut, maybe a tool that you use, maybe a phrase that you use that gets you the opportunity to talk with somebody, whatever. So be creative and think what works for you. What works for you, okay? I'll pass it over and I'll pop in as I can. But John, I'll leave
Oh,
you started, okay? That's the way to get started.
thanks, Peter. Have you ever felt like the more content you post, the less people care? You're showing up, you're posting value, giving away actual gold, and somehow nothing lands. No clients, no leads, just a couple likes or sad little save for later. Here's what's happening. A lot of coaches, small business owners, what have you, are trying to teach too much. They're building lead magnets called the ultimate guide to everything. They're posting, they're trying to win like a master's degree in being helpful. It's generous, it's impressive, and it gets completely ignored, because your content is too big, too smart. When your content's too big, too smart, or too hard to act on, people don't say yes. They just scroll. So a splinter size is a splinter size problem. It's, how to fix it. There's no content, no context, no learning curve. Just, yep, I want that for the moment. Let's say you're with a Fit Pro or something like that, and you could give them a 47 slide deck of contents or psychology, or you could just give them a Fit Pro Fit Trap. How to post an IG story that sells, what you say, what to wear, and how to pose your abs or ass just right. You know, wow, it's tongue in cheek, hilarious, and yes, it works. You actually give them a story that prompts to get replies. It's a simple checklist of the lightning. Turns outfit recos, even outfit recons or trinkets, whatever, to crop it off. Guess what happens? Every Fit Pro comments, they tag with their mates, they laugh, and then the automatical DM very slides into their inbox and guides them, followed by an invite to the next step, working for you. They warmed up, they're pre-sold, they're ready to go. This works for every niche. Now, Mark is going to come on here in just a minute and he'll show even more. Here's a few more samples. Old 7-figure launch planner. New subject line vault, 12 openers that beat big launch coming. What about how to grow? The old is how to grow on Instagram. The new is DM split test. 3 words for opening lines that start sales conversations. Or the old coach guide to creating irresistible offers. How about this? The new one, the offer filter, a 1-page checklist to make your offer an instant yes. Or here's another one, how to get clients from Facebook. That's the old one. The new one is the comment collector, the one post that turns 17 comments into 9 clients. Do you see a promise here? See the pattern? It's a big
Yeah.
promise equal friction. Tiny win equal action. So, Mark, turn this over to you because I know you're great at posting and what have you. What's your thoughts on this?
First of all, John, I think we could do a whole session on these fabulous examples you just gave, man. This is some really good stuff. But let me just say this, because I want to hear Jeff's take on this thing too. Well, everybody's, but I mean, I want to hear Jeff's thing. I'm going to spin this thing out because what you're talking about, the way I see it, it could be across the board. Like, for instance, you go into the grocery store and they got these good looking women in the end of the aisle like Tina, and they have a little sample. They give you a sample. You taste it, you go, hey, where do I get this? That's kind of the same concept that you're talking about. A quick, easy win. In fact, I'd be willing to, well, I don't want to say bet, but I'd be highly skeptical that a small business owner that's wearing multiple hats, you couldn't take anything like their headline writing, the way their people are answering the phone, the way they greet first-time customers, and on and on and on, and take any one of those things and show them how, if you just focus on this more, you're upselling, you're back in, your business is going to make more money. And the reason is because they're trying to be a generalist when you need specialty. And that's sort of what you're saying, John. You can't just be generic anymore. You got to really know how to cut to the chase. And if you know how to cut to the chase, because in essence, you know what your customers and clients want, and Jeff is really good at that, then you don't need all that fluff. And I'm not saying that other stuff is fluff. What I'm saying is you don't need, like he said, a 47-page step deal. You need 2 or 3 things that they can latch on to, like the weight loss people. They don't start you out trying to lose 50 pounds if you need to lose 50 pounds. They show you how in 7 days you're going to do X, that kind of thing. So to sum it up, long story short, so I get out of the way, what John is saying is powerful. John, when I go back and listen to this, I'm going to write down what you said because I'm going to put some LinkedIn posts on this. I'm sorry, but I got to steal your thunder there. But I'm just saying that is so powerful what he is suggesting. Laser focus in on a couple of things that you know are key and do twice as much of this as you do of that. And you'll find out where you need to put your emphasis to help your clients. And I'm going to get out of the way. Jeff, it's over to you, bud.
1 second. Can you hear me all right, guys? Hello.
We're here.
Yep, okay. So I'm trying to put this thing on my arm and all sorts of crap happening at the moment. When I saw Peter's subject, give me the actual subject again, Peter. What about the fishing?
Freedom of fish.
Yeah, there's a bit more to it. Tell me the rest of it. There's a bit more to it.
John?
You know, basically feed them a fish and give them a fish and feed them for the day and solve a small bite-sized problem rather than trying to be the be-all end-all for everybody.
Okay. When I saw that, my thoughts were this, guys. You know, I'm a bit different from a lot of people. My thoughts were,
Alexa.
Excuse me. You can give them a fishing rod, a boat, the bait, and take them to the effing aquarium, and they wouldn't catch a fish because they wouldn't take action. That's a big thing from my age. The big thing I see all the time is people don't take action, simple or complicated. They just don't take action. Or they'll post once a week and go, oh, it's not working for me, you know, et cetera, et cetera. But basically, guys, it's about being consistent. I mean, I put out posts all the time telling people I have a method that is guaranteed, I hear that word, guaranteed to double their leads. And I give them a 14-day free trial so they can see whether I'm full of shit or not, right? So they get a 14-day free trial, how to double your leads, providing you do what we tell you to do. And after that, I think it's something like $1.50 a day or $200 for a year, which works out to be $4 a week, which you double your leads. So if you're getting 10 leads, all of a sudden you're getting 20 leads. Now, we can't double your sales for you. That's on you, because leads and conversions are completely different things, right? You can give some people 100 leads and they wouldn't get a conversion because they haven't got the skills or the way for doing that. You can give someone like Peter 5 leads who get 4 out of 5. A huge difference. It's a skill set, guys, and it's all about learning and constantly learning. I mean, I see silly questions like every day. I see this. Should I pay $20 for ChatGPT? Are you kidding me? Are you an adult? That gets up my nose. And I go back and say something like, what is ChatGPT? To make it, I'm an idiot like them. You know, my goodness. Anyone that doesn't pay ChatGPT, it should be $200 to keep idiots away. I believe email marketing should be $1 an email to make people bloody serious. It'd be a lot less spam and there'd be a lot of serious people, me being one of them. I'm prepared to pay to play. So guys, if you want to get in the game, if you want to be serious, depends how you want to be. If you want to be nobody, stay where you are. If you want to be someone, pay to play. That's my soap wagon for today, guys. Pay to play. Right, that's it for me, guys, temporarily. If we need to fill the hour up later, I'll come back if we need to.
Good points, Jeff. You know, to put it a different way, it's like you barreling into a party with a big textbook in your hand, trying to teach everybody how to face their problems, you know, take responsibility and better themselves. It ain't going to happen. You know, people don't want that. What they're looking for is you're not going to change their behavior. What's going to happen is they're just going to totally ignore you and say, don't listen to that dumb SOB. He doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. He's trying to do there. You know, think of some preacher standing on the corner trying to convert everybody on Main Street, New York City. Thousands of people walk past them. You know, they'll walk around them. They don't stop to listen. You know, your marketing doesn't change their behavior. It just helps accelerate what's already there. Like these people, they just keep strolling looking for answers. You're not some preacher standing on a corner with your book telling them how to do this. What they want is how to have a quick fix for a problem. And that's basically what Mark was talking about, what Jeff's talking about. You know, Tina's in an interesting niche, working with people that are getting a divorce. They don't want a great big long lecture. They want to know, how can I fix my problem? You know, and this is where Tina can help them and save them, in some cases, hundreds of thousands of dollars. They're not looking for her to bring out a 100-page book to say, you got to do blah, blah, blah. It ain't going to happen. So, you know, Tina, if you're available for some input, that would be great.
So, and on the marketing standpoint, that's important. You also have to have that niche so you know who you're aiming your arrows at, your little darts as you throw them. Because if you think that you want to work with everybody and you just have this big wall you're going to throw darts at, well, you're going to hit the wall, but that's all you're going to hit. So, but if you put a target and you aim at the center of that target, you're going to hit the target. Eventually somebody's going to hear you. And as long as you're aiming at the target, you have got everything narrowed down. But if you start talking to a wide audience, nobody's going to hear you. Nobody's going to hear you. So when I work, I mean, if you've seen my videos, you see that I've got about a 2-minute thing where I'm working on one little tiny episode that's going through their life, or I'm helping them create something like an email that's a protection mail. So I go through one little tiny thing and I spend maybe 2 minutes on that topic. And it's aimed at my specific target, the one person that I have decided that I'm going to aim at. I don't always hit the center of my target, but I hit the target.
Good
Excellent.
point.
Thank you. You know, to simplify what Tina just said, she's saying, here's what I got. Here's what it'll do for you. Here's how to get it. Thanks, Tina. You know,
Absolutely.
and you can run that organic. You know, and then if you want to throw some money at it later, that's fine. But what it does, it works because it matches the psychology of that individual. it uses stuff that you've already got, and it gets you leads faster than cheaper than anything else because you're targeted. And that's what everybody's looking for, is that target, like Tina said. Aim for that bullseye, not just to hit the wall. So, go from there. Mark?
Let me just throw something in that Jeff, to piggyback. This is fabulous, but let me just piggyback off something Jeff said. He said the problem he's seeing is that no matter how much, what kind of fish, the size of the fish, meaning the information you give them, the vast majority won't do anything. Ladies and gentlemen, you know how we know this is true? There is a multi-billion-dollar industry called the fast food industry. Now, I wager to guess everybody on this call can cook a hamburger. Why do you go to McDonald's and Wendy's? Because you don't want to be bothered. So the fact that we can offer done-for-you solutions for people, this is huge, because as Jeff said, they got the boat, they got the rod, they got the bait, they're still not catching any fish. You need somebody to fish for you. You don't know how to write email. You need to get somebody who can write it. I don't know how to write content on LinkedIn. You need to get somebody to do it. I don't know how to get leads on Instagram. You need to get an expert to do it. I don't know how to set up a Zoom with it. I know a guy who happens to be my coach and mentor named Peter Beckenham. He knows how to do that kind of stuff. There are people that are qualified who want to do these things for you. And the flip side of that, Peter, I just had this happen. A young man reached out to me on LinkedIn. He said he had graduated from university, so I assume he's probably somewhere overseas. And he was saying that he couldn't find a job. So I asked him, well, what is your daily mode operation? What are you doing on a daily basis? You know, the one thing he wasn't doing? Looking for a job. He expected them to come knock on his door with an attaché case full of cash and saying, here you go, kid. I said, listen, you got all kind of opportunity in front of you, but you got to go out there and meet it. There is more money in service, ladies and gentlemen, than you and I can take advantage of in 15 lifetimes. Learn to be of service. Peter, where I used to live, when it snowed, that was an instant business for young men who were enterprising. You know what they do? They have their shovel, they go door to door, they knock on the door. Somebody asks, you need your stair shovel in the sidewalk? And they'd get cash. Now, I didn't say they were making a 7-figure income, but the point is, being of service is very powerful, lucrative, it's evergreen, and it's never going out of style. And the more skill you have, like a John and a Jeff and a Tina, you can raise your rates and make more money. But the point is, you can get of service with the internet now, worldwide. You almost have no excuses anymore, ladies and gentlemen.
It's interesting you were, oh, sorry, Peter, go ahead.
Sorry, I just want to mention all of us have something that we use every single day that other people may not even be aware of. And what they are can help people get a win. And the whole idea of this feeding people a fish, right, is to give them a win, give them a quick win, give them some confidence both in themselves and in you. Because if they have more confidence in you, then they'll think, why not do more business with you? So all I'm suggesting, think right now, what do you use every single day that you find helpful in your business, and put them in place and share them as a way of helping people feed them fish. That's what I'm trying to get at. And there's stacks of them. I mean, for example, John, you listed off so many to start with, and it's worth, for those who are watching the recording, stop the recording and get them down. One of the things I did was called, get my memory right, excuse my friend, trust phrases that get results. These are phrases that I've used that help me get people to say, I want to have a talk to you. Okay, that's a simple little thing. But there's a stack of other things like Grammarly, right? I use Grammarly all the time. It's a free tool, but it helps me because my English is usually pretty darn lousy, to be quite frank, right? Pexels, PEXELS.com. That's where I source all my copyright free images from. You've heard me talk about subjectline.com before. That to me is brilliant for email marketing. It gives you the greatest possible titles you can use, but you can use it for a whole lot of other things. All I'm suggesting before I completely run out of voice, all I'm saying is think right now, do it now. What do you use right now on a daily basis? Free or otherwise, it doesn't matter. Jeff's point is well taken. If you, be quite frank, if you're only using free things, be careful. Be careful, because you know what? You're going to be attracting free people as well. All right. So all I'm suggesting is share what you find is helpful to you right now, and they will be the micro magnets that we're talking about when we're calling about feed them a fish. It's that darn simple. And I would suggest that we do that in this call if we could. Let's not be too conceptual. Let's not be too theory. Let's be specific. Think of this one. What about this tool? What about this tool? That's what I'm suggesting. Food for thought.
Thanks, Peter. You know, and that's, again, looking to give people a small win to a problem right now. And when you do that, that's what will show up for you. That's what you want. You want them to show up for you and what you have, because they say, wow, he or she's helped me get this win. That's what I need. You know, and coming back to your part, Mark, where you mentioned about that young man with a degree. We know a young man that was part of the other group we're in, was getting his MBA, and the professors and all that taught him that, you know, you can walk out and you could get $1 gazillion because you got this fancy piece of paper. He talked to another gentleman that said, your MBA is going to get you one step up on the ladder from the beginning. Where you go in company depends on how hard you work and what you can produce. So if you think that degree is going to entitle you to $1 gazillion job, it isn't going to happen. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not here to put education down by any means. It is very valuable, but you also need to remember you still have to prove yourself. And it's no different when you're in business. You have to prove yourself every day to your clients, your prospects, and everything else that you are the person to deal with. You do that by helping these people get wins, small and big as you go. Mark, over to you.
That's fabulous. In fact, you know what you're saying and what Peter just said, specificity. Now, before anybody says, well, hey, I don't have any results or this, that, there's other ways to frame it. And that's why we're here. And if you really want to know, reach out to any one of us and we'll help you with it. But the bottom line to all of this, what I'm getting out of this, ladies and gentlemen, is you figure out, like Tina said, one thing, not that you only do one thing. Don't be misunderstood here. You take one particular thing and you show somebody how they can get a quick results just by following our direction. And if need be, we'll do it for you. So that you can, now, when I say do it for you, there's different ways. If we had, 4 hours, we could get into the nuances. But the point that I'm trying to make, and we're all trying to make here, is there's something you can offer to your prospects that's valuable, that they need, that you and I have. Give it to them, John. I'm going to add one thing to you said, a small fish. Give them a small, tasty fish, and you'll get more results. Some of you are just making this way too hard. I have a call later on today with a gentleman. It's coming from LinkedIn. And there's nothing I'm doing special other than following the advice of these experts you see up here. It's just that not complicated. So if, in fact, excuse me, Peter, I've said this before, and I said this on another podcast, and I'll say it here. If anybody listening to this doubts if any of this will work, you put up the cost and let me keep 100% of the profit. I have yet to have anybody take me up on it. That says all that stuff won't work for me. Prove it. Put your money where your mouth is.
Can I give
Good
you
point.
another specific example? This has only been going 24 hours, so I can't really say too much. But this is all free. Well, it's not free. You've got to have a paid version of Zoom to do this, right? But what I'm running is a thing called Conversations That Convert. It's on the 3rd of May, all right? And what I'm doing for 7 days is I'm doing a little video each day that has a call to action, okay, to actually come and join this free Zoom live session. It's an experience. I don't want to call it a workshop. I don't want to call it a webinar, because they've got strings attached to them, right? This is a pure, simple experience where I'm going to take people through how to have a conversation that converts, all right? Why I'm sharing it with you, not that you don't need to join it, because I'll give it to you anyway. Why I'm sharing is because it was launched today. The first post went on to LinkedIn today. I already have 17 people registered, which means I now have 17 emails, right? Because when you go into the Zoom session, if you've got a paid version, you can actually click to have them to register to join, and you automatically get their name and their email address. All right, you get that immediately. So you're building your email address, and at the same time, you're getting people on there. So food for thought, a little thing that takes some work. I mean, I spent maybe 3 or 4 hours sitting down thinking about what would be the 7 little videos I'm going to do, which are about 90-second videos. What are the 7 little videos I can do that I can put as a post on LinkedIn, for example, with maybe 100 words that go with it, that get people to think, my God, this may be good. It's the same thing as John was alluding to earlier. If it's good and you get it for free, my God, what else can you get, right? So food for thought. Use Zoom as a way to build your email list. That's what I'm getting at. It's a very simple tool. And Zoom does it all for you. The whole shooting match, right? Anyway. Sorry, John.
Oh, that is excellent. And you're going to put the details in the chat here that people can see. No?
No.
Okay. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. You have to go to LinkedIn if you want this tidbit. So, good for you, Peter.
John, the reason for that is because I want people to see what I say before they decide. I don't want to convince people to join. They're going to make the decision to join. That's my point, right? And if they don't like what I look like in the video, then who cares? That's fine. See you later, right?
That comes down to SW next. Some will, some won't. So what next? And, this might sound cruel to a lot of you, but that's what's happening when people are scrolling. They don't give a damn. Okay. Unless you get their attention, they're not stopping. They're just scrolling right on by. You can have the best thing going, but if they don't like it, they're not stopping. So,
well, all I know is this. Let's say, 15 is a lot more than I expected. I thought I might get 3 or 4, but let's say I just average 5 a day for the next 7 days. Okay. So that's another 30. So that's 45 people who have registered for this free webinar, which is on a Saturday morning, okay, US Eastern Time, 8 a.m. on May the 3rd, right? Of that 45, let's say just 5 of them turn up. I'm being as conservative as I can, right? If 5 just turn up and 1 becomes a client, is it worth it? Absolutely.
I'd say so.
Absolutely.
I'd say so.
And what did it cost me? It cost me 2 hours of my time.
And okay, can we take this even further for you? Because that's fabulous. Once he's done that, ladies and gentlemen, he's got a template now. That template he could turn to me and say, Mark, I have a proven system that does X. Well, how do I know? There you go. And then he says, Mark, this system costs X. That's the kind of thing Jeff does. Jeff Brilliance, this kind of thing. And John is too. But my point is, you see all these potential income streams that revolve around taking the right action. You are sitting on a proverbial fortune on the front and the untapped back end like you can't begin to appreciate, ladies and gentlemen, because you're, as Jeff said, you won't take action. So any newbies out there that are saying, hey, what could I do? What you can do is get out here and become a do-it-yourselfer for these people. Do that first thing for them. Like, for instance, Jeff made a funny comment. He said, should you invest the $20 into ChatGPT? If you can't figure out how to profit using the free version of ChatGPT, shame on you. Shame on you. That thing is so powerful, it's mind-boggling. I have it write my hooks, write my article, but then I go back. Now, I don't want to mislead anybody. I'll say, write me a short article about this, and then I'll just pick out the parts I want and then put in the rest myself. How difficult is that? Come on, man. I mean, stop it. There is more opportunity now than we've had since the beginning of time. There is just no excuse. And since a lot of people don't want to take action, in other words, they don't want to cook a hamburger, become Burger King and McDonald's. Service these people. Now, we know that's not the most healthy food. But my point is, people can't write emails. Peter, you've heard this. Jeff has heard it. Tina's heard it. John's heard it. I've heard it. People are afraid to get in front of the camera. Terrified. They will not do it. They don't care what could be on the other side. They're not going to do it. So the point is, those of you who don't have that phobia, take advantage of that. Go on get on 15 Minutes of Fame if you can. That's Jeff's podcast, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. You don't know that, Jeff Veale. The point is, most people are not proactive. They're reactive. So the proactive ones, this can be your oyster, man. You're sitting on a gold mine. Go for it. Get yourself together. Reach out to somebody like Peter. He's my coach and mentor. Been that way for years. These people know what they're doing. John knows what he's doing. Tina knows what he's doing. Stop making excuses. Peter, do you remember the old financial guru? Unfortunately, he's passed on now. Charles Gibbons, the late, great Charles Gibbons. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're into finances, go check out Wealth Without Risk and Financial Self-Defense. Charles Gibbons said it like this, Peter. You can make money or excuses, but you can't do both. So decide. And we know John would say it a much more less endearing way. But the point is, you got to do one or the other, man. You cannot straddle the fence your whole life. If this isn't for you, tune out and go on about your business. If it is, decide to get serious and start engaging with us. If you're on LinkedIn, you see this, follow Peter Beckenham. Do what he says and watch and see what happens to your results. And I'm going to get off the soapbox, but I just had to say that.
And, that is really great, especially that statement. You can make money or you can make excuses. How many people out there are waiting? You owe me. The world doesn't owe you anything but an opportunity. And the unfortunate part today is there's so many people that have the entitlement attitude. And it is shocking. And the people, well, you owe me. No. And the other one is, people now are expecting to show up on a job. They can't work from home. What a novel concept. The boss wants you to show up and be there to show you're really working. Oh, I can't do that. How am I supposed to get my groceries and do all the rest of the stuff during my day so my evenings are free? It's called work. I know it's a rotten 4-letter word and I sometimes use that, but this is a real swear word for a lot of people. And get used to it, because if you're not doing the work, you're not going to get the results. And that's plain and simple. Like Tina said, you can throw darts and just hit the wall, or you can have a target on that wall and throw it at the target. It's up to you, ladies and gentlemen, what you do. We can't do it for you. We can help you get there and be with you every step of the way, but we can't do it for you. Like Jeff said, you can take them, put them in a boat, give them a pole and a bait. But if they're not willing to drop the line in that aquarium, they're never going to catch fish. So there's been a ton of stuff shared. Go ahead.
Sorry, John. We all know that when somebody else says something about you, it's far more powerful than if you say it about you, right? Obviously, right? And there is a brilliant, and this is free. It's run by Google, right? This is free. There's this thing called Note. Let me get it right. Let me check in my list. notebooklm.google.com. Notebooklm, all one word. Notebooklm.google.com. If you go there, and what I do, for example, I might dump in a video of one of my podcasts. I'll put it into there, and this is AI, and it generates a conversation between this man and this woman talking about John and Peter having. John, I shared with you. I think you were familiar with it, right?
Yep.
What did you think? What did you think of that? Of the result?
It was a good job, and I was actually surprised when you shared it, because it was just like two people having a conversation, and it was all on some stuff that I shared, and it's incredible. By all means, use it.
Yeah, and it's free. All I'm saying to you is just put in your video or your transcript, okay, and it will generate for you automatically this audio of this man and this woman talking to each other about Tina and you, who you're talking to, or Mark or Jeff, whatever it is. And what I'm saying is because here is a free tool that can definitely help people get somewhere very quickly, right? Feed them a fish. Here's one fish you can give them. It's like a whole bloody fish market in one hit. Anyway.
For any of you that haven't tried it, by all means, go there and try it. It does an incredible job, and it's professionally done. It doesn't sound like amateurs. It's two professional people talking. So it is a big tool to use and a great tool. Thanks, Peter.
Okay.
Peter, can I throw in one other thing real quick? Because this is all, I see all this as like, I call it power network. If you're a retail jeweler, and I'm just throwing this out, if your vendors, I'm talking about the people who come to your store, excuse me, if you haven't hooked them up with bling at cost, you should be run out of business. Think about how many businesses they're going into every day. You don't think if a guy's got a $5,000 watch on that you gave it to him for half cost with terms, or she's got on a $3,000 necklace that you gave to her for terms, they're not going to get any compliments? Are you that insane? So you'd rather spend $20,000 on an advertisement when you got a walking billboard coming into your business every day, potential walking billboard, who's going to take this back to their crew, their personal people, their neighbors, their in-laws. If you, if you don't think this strategy will work, you put up the cost and let me keep the 100% of the profit, and we'll see. There's an open challenge sheet right there. Come on, man. Stop it. Stop it.
Tina, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, you guys are, I mean, you're right on as far as what you have to do for advertising. Again, I go back to the dartboard. If you don't have a perfect target, then you're not even gonna hit anywhere close. You're just gonna hit the wall and nobody's gonna notice. You've got to have a specific niche. You've got to have a specific avatar that you're aiming at.
Actually,
Jeff?
Tina, do you use any video tools like Loom, L-O-O-M?
No, I haven't. Now, I have used the tool, the FX tool, to create the pictures that I use. But most of the time, my videos, I just practice. I spent like 2.5 hours yesterday on a video for the organization that we're working on so that I could get it together. But that's what we have to do. You know, I remember back in the day, all of us are old enough to know that you hung up your little sign and you advertised in yellow pages and people came. Well, nowadays we have to do things different, and this is how we have to do them.
Well, the only reason I mention it is because one of the most powerful things you can do is to, I mean, you can use, I use Camtasia, but you can use Loom because it's free, right?
Camtasia.
And all I'm saying is if somebody has reached out to you, whatever it is. I create a little video. You can use Loom, right? And you go onto their profile and they can see that you're on your profile, on their profile, and you're talking to them about their profile. 1 minute video, just a 1 minute video, right? And you send it to them.
Good
And
Yeah,
there's
stuff.
the
and
part you need to make
That's
it.
what I do. I use my phone as my video taker. So that's how I put all my videos out on Facebook, LinkedIn, and
Yeah,
all the
my
other.
point was that they see that you are on their profile. They see their profile on the video. That's the point I'm making to you.
Excellent point.
Okay.
Excellent
That's
point,
the
Peter.
power. That's the power of it, right? And that's why Loom or Camtasia, you can't just do it with your phone. Because you.
Hey, one other thing, Peter, can I just throw in? I'm sorry, I got to mention this. Jeff, you remember when you and I were on before we went live, and you showed me that what do you call it? What's that software you use? A spreadsheet. And you remember how much you showed me you grossed versus your friends in Australia? You remember that?
12 years worth of their wages I made in 1 month.
1 month. Now, here's my point that I'm bringing this up, ladies and gentlemen. That's cutting to the chase. If you don't know how to do that and you haven't done that, then maybe a guy like Jeff is somebody you ought to be talking to, because there's a lot of theory out there. A lot of theory. Let's cut to the chase. Have you done it? Now, you don't have to go out and be as impressive as Jeff. The point is, somebody told me like this. If you're a step ahead of the audience, you're the expert. Okay? Or as another one of my coaches said, in the land of the blind, the one-eyed is king or queen. So the point is, either you're the Cyclops, you've done it, or you haven't. If you haven't done it, you see these people, these experts on this panel, reach out to them. If you can't do it, then pay them to do it, pay us to do it for you. Now, Peter, it gets down to now, it's either fish or chop bait. That's your choice. No hemming and hawing. You know what? A cousin of mine, a female, she said, it's like this, Mark. You're either pregnant or you're not. There's no, I'm kind of pregnant. So you're either in or you're out. You remember the movie Wall Street? The first one I thought was classic. Gecko told the kid, he said, there's two types, kid. You're either on the inside or the outside. Which one are you? So there it is, people. There it is.
You want to sort of rephrase what you're just talking about, Mark? Because my mind went all over.
Basically, you can either get in the boat and let somebody do the fishing, or you can stay on the sidelines and wonder how people fish.
But
there's no more in between. No more in between. Yeah or nay?
I was being naughty. Thank you.
Jeff, you got anything you want to throw in here?
Yeah, if I was going to clean that, was it ice or snow? I forget who said it, Mark or yourself said about the ice and the snow. I'd go to the hardware shop. I'd buy 5 shovels, probably 10 pairs of gloves, and get 5 of my mates to go out with my equipment and do the work. I'll cop 20%, thanks. I'll stay home in front of the heater because I've got the shovel and the gloves. It's that simple, guys. It's not hard. Don't think and grow rich. Wait for my book in November. Act and grow rich.
Act and grow rich.
All the thinking in the world is stinking thinking. Not going to get you anywhere. Got to take some action, guys. And back to school, because I left school at 14. I'm a bit of a black sheep. And by the time I was 21, I was a millionaire. All my friends, who, by the time they were 23 or so, they'd all just left university. They were all borrowing money from me at my rates, because nothing was free. I was making more money by doing money lending as well. And then it came out like this. 400 of them were engineers that year. 400 engineers came out. Guess what, guys? There were 10 jobs. So what did the other 390 do? They went and did mundane jobs like McDonald's or Wendy's or Burger King. Then they met the waitress. They got married. They bought a car. They bought a house. And they stayed the same for 40 effing years. And that's think about that. It's called the system. And the government likes you to be in the system. That's why there's tax on cigarettes, tax on alcohol, tax on petrol. Don't be part of the system, guys. Break away from the system. Run life on your terms. And you can do that by taking action. Simple.
You know, I can remember 20 odd years ago starting off in my own business online for the first time when it was relatively new, and it was all about building websites in those days, and I'm a technophobe and I was completely lost, right? Absolutely. And to be quite frank with you, I was also very gullible, extremely egotistical, and I didn't think I needed help from anybody. In the first year, I earned more than 6 figures. Do you know how much I had in the bank? 0. Not a squirt left. I was fleeced by people far smarter than I was. I fell for every shiny object syndrome you could ever see in the marketplace. Every single one of them. And I used about 5% of the ones I paid for. All I'm saying to you is there are so many ways that you can succeed in this world, but sometimes you need to learn from people who have actually been there and made the mistakes and don't make the same mistakes again. And I'm prepared to be one of those people. I really have made so many mistakes, and it's something that scares me. Oh, Gab's just arrived. Don't know what's going on here.
One of the things my dad always taught me was you'll never live long enough to make all the mistakes.
That's
So,
true, John.
you know, learn from those who have already made them.
Amen.
Oh,
Yes,
there
sir.
she is. There's Gabby showing up.
Hey, Gabby.
I promised. Hi. Nice to meet you all.
You're just coming in for the end. We're just about to
Right.
wrap up.
I know, but I promised I would be here and I wanted to hold to my word. I apologize.
Hello and goodbye, Gab.
Sorry? What? What's that?
Said hello and goodbye.
Oh, yeah, basically. But yeah.
I have to jump, guys. We'll see you tomorrow or next week.
All right,
Thanks,
Tina.
Sounds
Good luck on that
good.
project.